What's going on, guys? Trevor Hansen here with the Wake Channel. Thanks for checking us out. Today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people want to do pretty much as soon as they get on a wakeboard, is how do I catch some air? So wake jumps, super fun thing to learn. It's usually one of the first things that people learn, so we're going to break it down today and show you how to do it. Step one to having the fundamentals to be able to do a wake jump is definitely your edge control. So you want to make sure that not only can you go inside and outside of the wakes really well, but you even want to be able to carve a little bit. So being able to go aggressively and change from one edge to the next, whether it's a wake slash or just carving out in the flats, you want to be able to have that edge control to where you can slow down and speed up and have that edge control. Once you've got that edge control dialed in, the next is learning how to push off the top of the wake and how that timing works. So you're going to want to start with a one wake jump. So whether you shorten the rope a little bit or just slow the boat down, you want to be going a little bit slower than you normally would. So start with only a couple feet of edge, and literally it doesn't have to be very much. Like, you can basically just be at the bottom of the wake. And what you want to do is teach yourself where the top of the wake is. So if I start just at the bottom of the wake and just edge up on my heels and get to the top of the wake and just push, that's the top of the wake, and that's where a wake jump happens. And you want to practice that quite a bit. And it doesn't matter if you're only getting a couple inches of air. The goal here isn't to get a ton of air, it's to understand where the top of the wake is. So just start at the bottom of the wake, drift in, and push off the top of the wake, and then land right there in the middle. The most intimidating part of the wake-to-wake jump is actually clearing it for the first time, because it does take a fair amount of edge to be able to edge and get enough height and enough momentum to be able to clear over that other side for the first time. So you've got the two steps. You've got the edge control, and then you've got finding the top of the wake. Once you have both of those things, now we just need to bring everything together. So what you want to do is you want to build an edge that is a progressive edge. So as you start edging out further and trying to jump the wakes, you want to make sure that you're edging out slow, taking a quick break once you get the line tight. Let that line just kind of settle in, let your board flatten out, and then roll over onto your heel side edge and make it a nice slow turn, and then progressively build into the wake. Once you learn how to do those wake jumps where you're just standing right next to the wake, now you want to add that little bit of edge. So go ahead and edge out about 5 or 6 feet using that technique where you're building a slow and progressive edge. So you just edge out a little bit, stand there and wait, let the line kind of start to pull you back in, and then lean into it a little bit, building your edge as you get to the top of the wake. And then your hardest edge should be right there at the bottom of the wake. And then from there, you just ride up the wake on your edge and then push off the top of the wake with your legs, and that's what's going to actually get you in the air and send you up into the air. From that point, all you want to do is continue to build on that. So just keep edging out wider, adding a little bit more edge until you're getting about 3/4 of the way over the wake. So you're not going to go all the way wake to wake yet. You're still just building on that one wake, but you want to be able to jump at least probably 3/4 of the way before you try a wake to wake jump. Now that you've got that jump feeling pretty good, 3/4 of the way landing in between the wakes, it's time to go ahead and shorten the rope and do a wake to wake jump. The reason you're going to shorten the rope is because it's super intimidating that first time. The difference between edging and landing in between the wakes and the difference between the edge that you're going to need to actually clear the wakes is pretty substantial, and it can be very intimidating and people freak out. So the best way to do it is to shorten the rope up quite a bit. Go ahead and shorten it to only like 30, maybe 35 feet behind the boat, so that you've got a really narrow wake, so that the first time that you do it, you don't actually have to travel super far. So once you've got that rope short and the boat speed is a little bit slower, you're going to edge out pretty much as wide as you can get, and then take that nice slow edge in, let it to start to pull you in, build your edge as you're getting closer to the wake, and then once you get to the top of the wake, explode with your legs, keep your chest tall, your handle should be right here by your hips, and just kind of hang out there until it's time to land. You'll see the other side of the wake, and that's when it's time to go ahead and bend your knees and get ready to land. So after you learn that first wake jump and you've cleared it at 30 feet, now it's just time to continue to make the rope longer. And don't make any big jumps. Go ahead and do it in 5-foot increments. You know, if you learned at 30, make it 35 next time, and then bring it back to 40, and just keep building it. Each step of the way, your edge is gonna have to get harder, and it's a little bit longer, and it just takes a little bit different timing every time that you make the rope longer. Your whole edge changes, so the amount that you're allowed to edge out becomes greater, the time that it takes to get to the wake is greater, and it's just a timing issue. So spend some time at each one of those rope lengths, really dial it in, and just build your confidence at each rope length so that you know exactly what you got going on. The wake jump is a super fun thing to play with. It takes a little bit of time. It's something that you learn early in your wakeboard career, and there's a lot of things that have to come together for you to be able to do it. So be patient with it. Don't be too scared to stay at one point. If you're really intimidated, just stay at that shorter rope length. Don't lengthen it out too quick, and just enjoy playing with the wake jump. It's something that every trick that you do from here on in, you're going to need a solid wake jump, so you really can't work on it too much. Focus on body position. Make sure that you're not pulling with your handle or doing anything weird off the top of the wake. It should feel very natural, just pushing off the top of the wake, keeping your handle right here, chest tall, and just nice and relaxed through the air. You guys are going to have fun with it. Enjoy the wake jump.